The biggest problem in your business is not a lack of revenue. The biggest problem in your business is a lack of reputation. Reputation precedes revenue.
He has killer content, amazing delivery, and he's one of the most gracious, extraordinary people I have ever met. He is the founder of Brand Builders Group, and he has a solution.
All right, Rory Vaden is the author of this book, Take the Stairs, a New York Times bestseller.
That successful people do the things they know they should be doing even when they don't feel like doing them, i.e. take the stairs.
Now, I want to introduce you to a formula that we at Brand Builders Group call the reputation formula, and it's super simple. This is how it works. It's just results times reach equals reputation. Results times reach equals reputation. But no matter how great the results are that you've delivered for yourself or for your clients, if you have zero reach, if nobody knows about it, if you have zero reach, your reputation is still zero. Because if I don't know you, I simply cannot buy from you. The challenge today is noise.
So much noise, so much content. Everyone's posting every day content.
How do you break through the noise? Because there's always somebody that's going to be smarter than you. There's always someone who's funnier than you. Better looking, better connected, has more money to do whatever. I think the thing that you see is that when a celebrity grows, it's because they're being raw and authentic, and it's themselves. And that is what people are drawn to, because we live in this world of tremendous fakeness, right? I mean, we have these masks, and we do it because we're completely insecure.
Trying to fit in.
We're trying to fit in. We're totally insecure.
And a personal brand should be about standing out.
Yes.
Not fitting in. It should be about how do you stand out more.
Yes. That's it, man. Like when you are doing you, you're uncopyable.
If any of you have met AJ, you know, we're business partners. We were business partners before we fell in love. And AJ is a checklister, a taskmaster. She's a do-getter, runs the house, runs the business, very productive. And so when we go to get married, we go to the county clerk's office. And what happens is, any of you that have been married before, you know that what makes the marriage official is the piece of paper. And so this county clerk, she slides this paper across the desk, and naturally AJ grabs it and she starts filling it out, right? So she writes in her name, her birth date, her social security number, that whole sort of thing. Well, when she gets down to the bottom half of the form, which is supposed to be all about the husband's information, rather than giving it to me to let me fill it out, she decides she's just going to go ahead and fill this in for me. Wouldn't want me to make a mistake or something, so she just starts cranking on the form, right? So she writes in my name, my birth date, my social security number, and she gets down to the last question. And the last question says ethnicity. And she writes in for me, Caucasian. And I looked at her and I was like, honey, what are you doing? And she says, what? I said, you just wrote down Caucasian. She goes, yeah, so? I said, honey, I'm Mexican. And I think it was the first moment that it dawned on her that she was actually about to marry a Mexican man. And I mean, I'm not kidding. I wondered for a second if she was going to still go through with the whole thing. And obviously I hadn't branded myself very well in that way. I mean, she knew I was Mexican. She knew that my grandmother was born in Mexico and my mom's maiden name was Reala Vasquez, but she didn't know. Like, it hadn't set in until that moment, and she's just like, you know, looking at me. And you know, that's part of branding. Is what do people think of when they think of you? That is, to me, what branding is all about. What do people think of when they think of you? And the biggest celebrities in the world, the people who are famous, spend an exorbitant amount of time and intention and energy crafting everything they do to try to influence the way that what people think of when they think of them. Because truly, you don't own your brand. The world owns your brand. They own your brand because it's whatever they think of when they think of you. Your job is to craft and shape and perpetuate and promote things so that this is what you want them to think about. And that's kind of how it works. So the question is, what is your one thing? What is that thing that you can own, that you can dominate?
So a lack of revenue is not your biggest problem. A lack of reputation is your biggest problem. Reputation precedes revenue.
I want you to remember this too. Building a business is not nearly as valuable as building a reputation. Reputations last forever. And we should be more focused on building our reputations. So how many people do you have immediate access to? And by the way, this really matters because if people don't know about you, they cannot do business with you.
But unfortunately, many of you are sitting out there still resistant to the idea of social media, still resistant to the idea of embracing, learning how to do a couple new things. Some of you think about digital marketing and you say, Rory, there's no way that I'm going to learn how to do that. There's a better chance of an Amish family pulling up in a Hummer. And that's the first thing you have to get over is you have to be willing to learn how to do it. And a lot of times we have a fear of learning new things. I remember when AJ and I got married and we first moved in together because she would ask me to fix things. And my wife, AJ, you need to understand, she grew up in a home with a father who is literally a lumberjack. Her dad, Ronnie, is 6'4", 250 pounds. He hunts, he fishes, and he fixes stuff. Me, on the other hand, I was raised by a single mother who sold Mary Kay cosmetics. I know more about makeup than I do about cars. I mean, guys, you won't appreciate this, but ladies, every single morning when you wake up, you stand in front of that mirror, and it goes wash, toner, moisturizer, foundation, wrinkle-free eye cream, base eyeshadow, dark eyeshadow, blush, eyeliner, mascara, lip liner, and lipstick. Notice how all the women are laughing and clapping. They're like, oh, he's so funny, we like him. There's this whole row of guys up here in the front row looking at me like, you know, this dude was a high school cheerleader. And I'll never forget, AJ asked me one time, she says this, she says, honey, can you replace the air filter? And I remember thinking to myself, air filter. I know I've heard that term before. So I go onto Google. And I look up air filter and I say, okay, great, babe, do you want an air filter for the car or for the house? And she says, she points to a metal crate at the wall and she says, just go to Home Depot and get the thing that fits in there. And I remember thinking, Home Depot. I know I've seen that store before. So I go to Home Depot and I'm walking around for probably 2 or 3 hours. And this young woman walks up to me. She says, sir, can I help you? I said, yes, I need an air filter. And she says, okay, great, we have those. She says, what size? I say, they come in sizes? Don't judge me. So I had taken a picture. She gives me the air filter. We go home, and I'm working on installing this air filter for, no kidding, at least 45 minutes. AJ walks over to me. She says, honey, what in the world are you doing? What is taking so long? I said, babe, you don't understand our air filter. Something is wrong with it. It is broken. I cannot get this air filter to stay up. And she looks at it and she goes, that's because you tore the cardboard off around the edge, you ding-dong. And so when it comes to fixing stuff, for me, there's a better chance of an Amish family pulling up in a Hummer. But look, anytime you do something the first time, you feel ignorant. But if you never learn how to do it, you always remain ignorant. And the only reason you wouldn't do it is because of fear. You're scared that your content won't be well received. You're scared it won't be good enough. And while it is true that if you suck in real life, you will suck online. But I don't want you to think about that, because you only feel fear when you're thinking about yourself. Don't think about yourself. Think about the person out there who needs you, who needs your answer, who needs your solution. You never feel fear when your focus on others is clear.
And I want you to stop focusing so much on converting customers, and I want you to focus on creating fans. Don't just make money. Remember why you got into this business, which is to make a difference.